You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dini Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I'm your host, dini-mussolini, and right now there's over 6,000 of you guys in our chat room, on the phone lines, using Skype or Google Hangout, or even the browser, to tune in. So I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and being a part of our audience. We have a special guest, so you definitely want to stick around for that. All right, to be truly effective at achievement, you must learn to look ahead further than you can see without losing sight of where you are. That means visualizing your destination in rich detail long before you can actually behold it. And yet you must not get so wrapped up in the ultimate goal that you lose awareness of your current situation. In fact, any achievement is simply the result of making and then following the connection between your present circumstances and your visualized goal. You must be able to see both in clear, rich, and brutally candid detail. Think of the last time you bought a plane ticket. Before you could purchase the ticket, you had to tell the airline or book it online, figure out the name of the city from which you wish to depart, and then figure out the name of the city where you wanted to travel. Without that information, it would have been impossible for the airline to issue your ticket or to accommodate your travel plans. Your mind is a powerful goal-seeking tool, and it works in much the same way. It must know where you are and where you want to go. There is most assuredly a way to reach whatever goal you set for yourself. Your task is to see both ends of the journey at once in clear detail and then find the best connection between them. Take that from me, dini-mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music or Inside the Book, Inside the Business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos, crystalline or starseeds, or for my Vigilantes audience family, and 2 times for my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 4 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens. or people think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. And that's V as in Victor. I'm passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Text that number to your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be right here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. Feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much and we take up the entire hour. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, or any app from the Google Play or iTunes store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired.
All right, guys. This evening's interview is with the children's author, Laura St. John. And again, I'm your host, dini-mussolini. Our interviews go beyond the music, the books, the magazines, the films, the products, and even sometimes the ego. We go into the minds of authors, artists, bands, CEOs, scientists, educators, these marvelous people who create these aspirations. From researching our guests, mining for details, and watching, reading, or listening to everything we can, our interviews are designed to bring out the best answers possible through provoking questions that have real substance. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome Laura St. John to the show. Hello, you're now live in the mix with all of us. How are you feeling today?
Good evening, Denny. How are you? I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Great as well. Oh, it is our pleasure to have you chat it up with Dini. So, again, welcome to the show. And I guess we should start from the tippy top. Like, who is Laura St. John? Where do you come from, and what do you do?
Well, I grew up in Florida. I was born in near the D.C. area, but I moved to Florida when I was 12, so I've been here most of my life. And I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I have children, and I also work with abused and neglected kids that have been removed from their homes. So I do that as well. And I have lots of experience with kids, as well as my own. So I've kind of, I don't know, both these books have been derived from me experiencing raising children and things that I dealt with them and different things.
Yeah, most definitely. So speaking about your books, you have two out right now. Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover and Christmas House. So how did this journey begin for you as a children's author?
Well, it's Don't Judge a Bug by Its Cover.
Right.
It's kind of a play on words there. And it's both these manuscripts I wrote, believe it or not, over 15 years ago. And I've kind of tweaked them along the way. I just saw a need for children's books about not judging other people, which is what the Bug Book is about. And also the Christmas House is about digital awareness for kids and adults, actually. And I wanted to try and shape young minds, when they were real little, about different issues that we might have as adults also. So it's just amazing how they've kind of grown with me, and it was a long process, but they're kind of I have my heart into the books, so I'm really excited about them.
Yeah, most definitely. So these books or manuscripts were developed like 15 years ago. What finally gave you that push or courage to just leap out there and say, it's time to get these books to the world?
Well, my kids were kind of consuming me at that time, and I kind of shelved them for a little while. And also it does take some financial backing to get books published, especially children's books, because there's illustrations involved. and there's editing, and so it just wasn't the right time for me. But I did want to. It was on my bucket list, so I wanted to get them out.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a more general question, and it's, loosely based off of your experience with children, as well as, finally getting your books on the market. But how do you feel about putting, like, a price tag or anything on something educational like books? Like, how can anyone determine what the real value from a book is?
Well, that's a good question, because you really can't. What you get out of it, like the kids that read my books get so much more than I have even thought they would. So can you put a price on that? Probably not. But, I really, that's one of the reasons why I wrote these books, because I wanted them to have like an impact that was more than, the monetary value of the book. They're moral based. These kids that read them hopefully think out of the box and start thinking about, if I said this to somebody, because the bug book is basically about a ladybug and a roach, and she teaches him to see the good things inside himself. And so there's lots of anti-bullying, body shaming kind of things that you get from the book, and teamwork, because there's a lot of bugs that come and do different things. There's a couple of adventures that happen throughout the park. And so I think the message, you can't place a value on that, really.
Right, yeah. I'll agree with you. And even if there is a price on the book, that's an investment into somebody's future, somebody's moral values and their character, help shaping their character for the life that they're going to live later on. So, how does like the editorial process work? I really don't know. But this part of book development kind of interests me. You write the manuscript, you seek out illustrators, but when you hand in your copies to the editor or who's ever doing the copyright, how much of the book actually changes?
Yeah, it's a long process, and people think it's just super easy to get books out there and get them marketed, but the hard part is after the book is done, really. But back on what you were saying about the editing, everything needs to be looked at to make sure that the grammar is correct, obviously, and because kids are going to be reading it, and it's just super important to find people that you trust. There was a long process for me. I went through, some metamorphosis of the book, and a lot was cut out, and so, I think you kind of have to be open-minded about, maybe this needs to be cut, and maybe this needs to be. Is this that important to the whole story? As long as the underlying message that you're trying to send is not changed, and then getting the illustrator to incorporate how you want the book to come across visually. That's, you have to find an illustrator that really fits what works for you.
Most definitely. So I could imagine that you're doing I could imagine that you're doing a campaign, maybe some book readings, shaking hands, kissing babies, hugging necks, that type of thing, kind of making you an ambassador. So when, like, your books, like Don't Judge a Bug by Its Cover and Christmas House takes off, the public is going to want more of that, and it's hard not to give people what they want. So is this like a permanent part of your career? Is this where your focus is going to, if it catches on like wildfire?
Well, sure, yeah. I love writing. I was a copywriter. Years ago, I wrote radio commercials, actually, and I've won some Addy Awards for some of my ads that I did. And so music has been part of my life too, but words are important. And I've written some music, and I think I have a third book coming out, hopefully this year or next year. So who knows? Maybe there'll be an autobiography coming along. I don't know. I love words. Words have power, and they can. And when I go talk to kids, I always tell them, they can make or break a deal. So make sure you choose your words wisely.
Right. And, children are not the only people into this narrative. Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. So I believe parents should play a very important part in the development of children as well. So are your books for parents too? Should they have a go at this book before they let their kid read it, or should this be done together?
Well, either or. I mean, it definitely is, for preschool to elementary age kids, so it's readable. But I have parents and grandparents that get it and read it to their little ones. I think it has a really good message. And when it comes to parents, helping the kids have a positive self-esteem about themselves, there's nothing better that you can give your child is to tell them how awesome they are and try and stay positive every day with them. Focus on their strengths and successes rather than their weaknesses. And I think that's what the ladybug was trying to do with the roach. Is to, hey, you're not so bad. And even though people think that he was ugly, and so it goes to show what we've put out there is what people are going to think about themselves. So I think it's an important message to share, really, to everyone.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And Christmas House, diving in a little deeper, what kind of characters are we dealing with with Christmas House?
Well, the Christmas House is basically a twist on the traditional Christmas story of Christmas Eve, with the birth of Jesus. So Mary and Joseph are in current times, and they are walking the streets in the neighborhood, and no one sees them or notices them because they are on their phones and they're doing their digital stuff, and everybody is distracted except for this one particular house that notices them and invites them in. So it's kind of a digital awareness, and people have told me, they're wanting to use it as a tradition every year that they read during the holidays, so that they can have it as a New Year's resolution to have less screen time, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a cool story. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Have you thought about? Yeah. Okay. So it's actually based on a modern day version of Mary and Joseph during the birth of Christ. Oh, that's cool.
Thanks.
Should be very relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, and the illustrations are great too. So it's I saw my own kids, how much the phones were important to them and their friends. And so I started thinking, what was one of the most important events that occurred. And I thought, wow, the birth of Jesus compared to, what we're doing with our phones and everything. So I kind of intertwined them together.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay. Have you ever thought about maybe turning one of these books into a cartoon or film?
Well, sure. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be like
a
dream come true.
Yeah. Would you have to be a part of that process? Like if a director or writer wanted to say, hey, I think we can adapt this to the screen. What role would you want to play in that process? Or, would you let that be up to them?
Well, I am open to anything. The most important thing to me is the messages that they have. So
yes.
Yeah, I would love that. So who knows? That'd be a great Christmas show.
Yeah, that's where I got the idea from. And I was just thinking about it, like a modern day Christmas story. I mean, you don't really have that many, and the ones that are out are kind of themed around the old Christmas tradition, and a lot of families don't really eat together, even during the holidays, and it's just modern day life, I guess you say. Everything's digitized. I even see kids watching other kids on YouTube playing with their toys, and I don't get it. Like, you have toys, why are you watching another kid play with their toys? So it's kind of
you're gonna have that balance, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. So I think, Christmas House is great for this time of age. So where can people go to purchase these books? How can they support you?
Well, I can send anyone a personalized autographed copy at the booksbylaura.com website. So booksbylaura.com, and a bookmarker. So I'll throw that in there too. And I would love to personalize it to anybody, or they're on Amazon and the major book sites also.
All right,
as well.
Listeners. Yeah, just in case you need those links, I will have them in the show notes and description of this episode. So all you have to do is click those links. Well, I want to thank you, Laura, for being my guest this evening and talking about your wonderful books. Can't wait for people to get their hands on it and get their hands on this interview as well, for those who didn't come for the live show. But thank you so much once again. You're really amazing and talented and dedicated to children, and I love that about you.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and God bless all your listeners, and everybody's connected, so I hope everybody enjoys the book.
Most definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@only1mediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable, because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace, and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.